How's it going, Rams? Welcome back to, sadly, our final Monday night sports show of the semester. I'm Madeline Davis.
And I'm Brendan Fairbairn. More news on the coaching search inside Canvas. Rams Athletics has found their new head coach only 4 days on the coaching carousel. See who it is and what it means for the green and gold moving forward.
The fall sports slate is finally over and winter is almost upon us, meaning Rams hoops action continues to heat up inside of Moby Arena. Get caught up on what was a successful weekend for both squads.
And to close off the semester, Right Hot or Not returns with a special extended edition to discuss the MLB Lockout, Super Bowl predictions, and much, much more. You won't want to miss it. All of that and more on CTV Sports, which starts right now.
Before we get you caught up on everything that occurred over the weekend, we just have to update you on some breaking news in Rams football. Early this morning, reports from outlets like Yahoo Sports and the Coloradoan surfaced that linked a current Mountain West coach to the open head coaching spot here at Campus Stadium. And who is it, you might ask? It's none other than the guy that just sent Steve Addazio packing a little over a week ago right here on campus, Nevada head coach Jay Norvell. At around noon today, the announcement became official, with Norvell set to make his appearance as a Ram tomorrow at 2:30 in the Iris and Michael Smith Alumni Center on the east side of Campus Stadium. Ram fans are encouraged to attend to celebrate the news. And with that, let's take a look at his resume for a second as the leader of Nevada football to see what we're getting into. Bottom line, it looks like this. A 33-26 overall record, which includes 4 straight bowl appearances and back-to-back top 3 finishes in the Mountain Western Division. Thanks to a 7-2 mark in 2020 and an 8-4 record this past season. And look, while this might not be the guy that Ram fans expected, or let's be honest, even envisioned, he's definitely done a solid job rebuilding what was a slumping Wolfpack program, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But needless to say, he'll have his work cut out for him if he wants to have the same type of turnaround here at CSU. Colorado State AD Joe Parker wanted an offensive guy to run this program, and he for sure got one in Norvell. In a week, he's gone from beating the Green and Gold 52-10 in their own house to being on their sideline. With the announcement, the 58-year-old becomes the 24th coach in Ram football history and the first minority leader of CSU on the gridiron. We'll be at the presser tomorrow, so make sure to keep up with CTV 11 for all of your updates. Brendan, how do you feel about this move?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad Steve Addazio's gone. I've been saying that from the beginning, even though I have gave him some credit a few times.
Yeah.
But I think he's gone. I know he came from a Power 5 program, but Norvell, I think he has a better resume. He actually had winning seasons under his belt, and I think he's going to continue that with Colorado State.
Yeah, and I think overall he's just a lot more experienced than Addazio was.
Oh, absolutely. Way more experienced than Addazio, and probably has a better temper than him as well. Probably not going to get ejected on the sidelines.
Yeah, let's hope not.
And with that breaking news out of the way, let's get into some CSU men's basketball, who had easily their hardest test of the season on Saturday afternoon against the St. Mary Gales, and needless to say, they did not disappoint, taking down their opponent from the West Coast Conference in dominant fashion, 58-74, to move them to a perfect 9-0 on the young season. But how impressive was this win exactly? Well, coming into this matchup, the Gales were ranked 5th in the nation when it came to defense efficiency, not surrendering more than 61 points all season against top competition like Oregon, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and Utah State. The Rams, on the other hand, dropped a season-high 74 on them, acting as a wake-up call to the whole country that Colorado State is the real deal, even if they still aren't ranked in the top 25. Let's get into some action. After exchanging early buckets in the first half, the Rams offense pulled off an 11-point run to go up 17-6 within the first 7 minutes. And after this flurry of scoring, CSU didn't look back, with the closest it got the rest of the way only being within 4. And to close out the half, the Rams got hot once again, going on a 12-5 surge to grab an 11-point advantage over the Gales at the break, 35-24. And out of the half, CSU picked up right where they left off, scoring the first 6 points to push the deficit for St. Mary's to 17 points. From there, the Rams took care of business and closed things out, not letting St. Mary's get within single digits again and getting out to a lead as big as 21 points. This massive advantage in the final few minutes allowed CSU to give their bench players a bit of playing time as the game got more and more out of reach, and the lead also gave Rams starters like David Roddy and Isaiah Stevens a well-deserved standing ovation from all the fans at Moby Arena. With the dub, the Rams take a 3-2 lead in their series against St. Mary's and avenges last year's loss in Moraga during their COVID season. This was also the Gales' first non-conference road loss since December 12th of 2015, and their second lowest point total of the year so far, all due to this phenomenal effort from Colorado State. Taking a closer look at the stats, the Rams continued their hot start to the season on the offensive end of the floor, shooting 52.8% from the floor and 56.3% on three-pointers. And the defense also played lights out, limiting St. Mary's to just 41 points, 2% on the field goal attempts, and a terrible 19% from beyond the arc. SMC did outboard CSU by 6 with 30 rebounds to 24, but the Rams made up for it with a +4 advantage in turnovers, forcing 15 against the Gales. Colorado State had 3 players in double figures, led by Roddy's 19 points and 7 rebounds, with 14 of those points coming in the second half, where he absolutely took over. And you can't forget about junior Isaiah Stevens, who had 14 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals, with 12 of his points coming in the first half. Moving on, junior John Tange came off the bench with 12 points, while Kendall Moore, Adam Thistlewood, and Jalen Lake all pitched in 7 points to spread the ball around evenly. St. Mary's had a pair of players with 10 points each in Matthias Tass and Augustus Marshallonis, but that was pretty much it for the Gales. With now 9 straight home wins dating back to last season, the Rams now shift their focus to a long road game stretch, which starts this Saturday when they travel down to Fort Worth, Texas to take on Mississippi State as part of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame Classic. And beyond that, their next 2 matchups aren't any more forgiving, facing off against Tulsa and 9th-ranked Alabama. Even though they deserve to be ranked right now, if they can pull out these next 3 wins, there is no doubt that the AP poll will put them within the top 10 or 20. Madeline, they are ranked 26 right now, 90 votes to be in the top 25.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a fair voting?
No. I told people yesterday, I said if they're not in the top 25, I'm going to throw a temper tantrum. So here I am throwing my temper tantrum. They deserve to be in the top 25. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all the bias in this AP poll voting. Like they're clearly they're not looking at it. They're not looking at it. They deserve to be top 25.
I absolutely agree. Coming off a win as good as St. Mary's, they have such a great defense, and Colorado State being one of the best offenses
in the country.
Exactly. They absolutely deserve to be in the top. If you asked me, I think about 2 weweeks ago, they should have been in the top 25.
Yeah.
But their time will come, and I think they are a lock for the March Madness tournament.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Switching things up on the court, men's hoops wasn't the only squad on campus with an afternoon game on Saturday. The women's team was down in Tempe for the Arizona State Classic, where they took on Harvard in the first round of tournament play. After a tough loss to Louisville last weekend, the Rams were hoping to bounce back and avoid that same type of slow start. And well, they did just that, with the first quarter ending in favor of the Rams with the slimmest of margins, 15-14. The second quarter, on the other hand, is where the Rams really started to struggle, allowing the Crimson to go on a 10-0 run to put them ahead of CSU going into the half. Harvard maintained this lead and kept the Rams for the entirety of the third quarter, and led by 3 going into the fourth. That's where CSU pulled it together, though, playing a solid game in the fourth and limiting the Crimson to only 6 points, including a 9-0 run to put them back on top for good, closing the game with a score of 59-52 to improve their record to 6-1 on this young season. In terms of the stats, 4 Rams secured double-digit points, including junior Kendall Kinzer, who led CSU with 13, grad student Carly Murphy with 12, junior McKenna Hofschild with 10, and grad student Upe Atazu with 10 as well. Murphy also racked up 13 rebounds to secure her 3rd double-double of the season already. All combined, the Rams had a decent 38.1 shooting percentage from the field and a 29.2 shooting percentage from a distance, which was much higher than Harvard's dismal 8% from the three-point line. After this W for the Rams, they went on to play the UTSA Roadrunners yesterday afternoon for the second round of play in the Arizona State Classic. Brendan, how'd they do?
Yeah, Madeline, like on Saturday, it was another close matchup for the Rams. But yet again, they were able to sneak out a dub against the Roadrunners 52-48. The first three quarters were neck and neck for both squads, with CSU on top by 1 heading into the fourth. Quickly into the final period, though, the Roadrunners got hot to retake the lead and extend it to 6 points with only 7 minutes left in regulation. On CSU's next possession, though, the Rams grabbed 2 critical boards to extend their time with the ball, which ultimately ended with the McKenna Hofschild three-pointer that started their game-winning run. But even with this late barrage to claw their way into a late lead, though, the Green and Gold were still only up 1 with a minute left, with CSU's defense having to do their job to pull out a dub, and well, they sure did just that. Will Murphy added a final 3 points to put the finishing touches on a 12-2 run to earn the Rams' second win in just 2 days. When it was all said and done, Murphy was the leader for the Rams offensively with 16 points and 9 rebounds, while Atosu and McKenna Hofschild added 13 and 12 points of their own, with 18 of their points occurring in the second half. Atosu was a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line as a part of CSU's 12 of 15 rate from the charity strip. And moving on to the boards, Kelly Clark racked up a team-high 10 rebounds to go along with her 5 points. Overall, both squads were very sloppy from the field, shooting only 29%, while both also made just 4 shots from behind the arc. Looking at UTSA for a sec, they were dominant in the paint, outboarding the Rams 54-41, but in the end, the main difference maker in this one was the turnover column, where the Rams forced 14 turnovers and turned them into 10 critical points. CSU protected the ball a lot better than the Roadrunners and had just 8 turnovers that only turned into 4 points. That was the real difference in this one. With the dub, the Rams now sit at 7-1 on the season, but have a tough matchup ahead of them when they return back to Moby Arena this Wednesday to take on the Weber State Wildcats. But after that, they should have some relief, though, battling their sister school from down south, the CSUP Thunderwolves, on Sunday at noon in Moby Arena. Like the men, hopefully women's can keep this hot start.
And now shifting spots on the court, coming off of their 10th home sweep in a row, CSU volleyball entered Moby on Friday night to battle it out in the second round of this year's NIVC tournament against the UTEP Miners. Unfortunately for CSU fans, though, the Rams were not able to pull off another sweep. And actually, they were almost swept themselves, going down to the Miners 1-3 to mark their first loss in Moby since their L to CU all the way back on September 10th. From the jump, the Rams came out swinging in this one, but so did the Miners. Both teams were very aggressive when it came to attacking the net, with each side hitting over 300 in the first set. With this in mind, though, it was the Miners' defense that really allowed them to remain on top for the entire first round and secure the first set 25-22. The second set, on the other hand, was a huge change of pace for the Rams, with CSU coming out looking like they had an axe to grind, down 1-0, and dominating this one 25-12. The Miners didn't let this get to them, though, coming back to win both the third and fourth rounds 25-18 and 25-19 to take home the W. Overall, the Rams played well when it came to the hitting side of things, but it was UTEP's 13 blocks compared to CSU's 5 that really pushed the Miners on top. 3 Miners, Kennedy Howard, Yasso Amin, and Vitora Price, each had 5 stops, while the Rams struggled to even put up 5 as a team. The Rams' hitting also went down significantly after the second set, leading to a 175 hitting percentage compared to UTEP's 246. Even with the L, though, there were still some bright spots for the Rams in this one, seeing them put up 10 aces, including 4 from both redshirt junior Sierra Pritchard and sophomore Ruby Kaiser. And on shifting focus, sophomore Kennedy Stanford led the team in kills once again with 14, while Sierra Pritchard did what she always does and put up 30 assists. And hey, while this may have been a disappointing loss and surely was not the way that the Rams wanted to finish out their season at home, they made a lot of progress this year and should be very proud of themselves on how much they've grown. As we enter the offseason, we'll just have to wait and see what next season shapes up to be for this still young CSU squad.
And with the volleyball news, Rams, it's time for a quick break.
When we come back, the entire CTV Sports staff enters the studio for another extended version of Hot or Not for this last show of the semester. Stay right here with CTV Channel 11 because you won't want to miss it.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans, and to the final edition of Hot or Not before we end off the semester. And with our last show, we knew we had to make this one a little bit different, bringing on two special guests to spice up the action. Thursday night sports anchor Cameron Evig joins Ella and I on desk to debate our Super Bowl odds, while Tuesday night's Brandon Cruz joins Madeline to talk about the lockout in the MLB. But before we get into that, let's talk about our Super Bowl predictions with the playoffs only 6 weeks away. My prediction for the bracket is going to be wild, but before we get to that, Cam, who do you have? Surprise me. I know Ella's picking the Packers, but I want to hear who you have.
Listen, I would fully come in here expecting to say that the Colts are going to be my sleeper team.
Colts?
Jonathan Taylor leads the league in rushing yards. It's not even close. 1,348 rushing yards for Jonathan Taylor. Joe Mixon's next at 998, 300 yards plus.
15 touchdowns, too.
16 touchdowns.
Oh, 16, excuse me.
Sorry. And the Colts offense is clicking on all angles right now. Carson Wentz, although not back to his MVP form, not really close to it, is a good game-managing quarterback. And the defense leads the league in turnovers this year with 29 forced, 15 interceptions, 14 fumbles. Cardinals 6 away at second with only 23 forced. But
Who is it?
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh,
Everybody is sleeping on the Bucs still, forgetting who Tom Brady is. Guess who's first in NFL passing yards this year? I'll give you one guess.
The greatest of all time.
Tom Brady.
The luckiest player of all time, I agree.
2 top 10 wide receivers on this squad. Leonard Fournette's playing like darn near a top 10 back in the league right now.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Getting important pieces back on this defense. Sean Murphy-Bunting coming back. You could get Richard Sherman back as early as next week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still one of the best teams in the NFL. And last week's W only came by 13 points, but it was a terrible game from Tom Brady, and they still are able to beat the Falcons by 13.
Cam, all I'm here is talking about offense, but do you forget who wins championships?
Absolutely.
I think defense wins championships.
And arguably,
ask Tom Brady.
One of the roughest defenses in the NFL right now.
That's why the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. They have the greatest defense right now. It's roster-wise. I know the stats aren't all there, but look at Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller.
You're forgetting who they just lost to. The Packers. The Packers easily took that game. And I don't use that word
I should say
easily.
easily.
No, because in that last touchdown the Rams had in the last 2 minutes of the game, and it was still another possession that they would have needed to take that
The Packers can go 17-0, and I still want to pick them to go to the Super Bowl.
Why?
They are
Because of the
cursed.
NFC Championship?
They have lost in the NFC Championship how many years in a row? Like, I think, was it 3 or 4 now? It's ridiculous. They can't get past it, and they won't.
Look. Let me tell you why the Rams don't have it for me. I as soon as 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was saying the Rams are the best team in football. Matthew Stafford has a iffy game 1 in every 3 or 4, right? And that's okay in the regular season. You're going to go 12-4. You're going to make the playoffs. It's going to be great if you have 4 bad games from your quarterback. You can't have 1 in 3 bad games in the playoffs because you're not winning the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford has not looked like the quarterback we expected him to be. Although looking great,
He's has MVP talk.
He is not.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Not
Look
in
at all the
MVP
things.
talks.
I swear, he is definitely in the MVP talk.
If he
might have fell down.
He is, he's third or fourth in the MVP
I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he's
not,
still putting up numbers.
Matthew Stafford is not as good as he needs to be consistent enough to win
Odell
the Super Bowl.
Beckham, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee.
You know I had your back before the season even started. I said I was excited to watch Matthew Stafford. Not anymore. Not a Super Bowl contender.
Cam, I guarantee the Rams win the Super Bowl. I guarantee it. I picked the Braves to win. Obviously, I am a fortune teller. Rams are winning it. Von Miller's getting his second ring as he deserves. But again, we could talk about football all day, and I wish we could. But Madeline and Brandon have some thoughts on the current lockdown that is going on in the MLB. Madeline, what can you tell us about the current situation for baseball?
Yeah, Brendan. Now, usually I debate topics on this show, but this week Brandon and I are in pure agreement. The current MLB lockout is terrible for the sport, and it's all Commissioner Rob Manfred's fault, a.k.a. the worst commissioner in all of pro sports. So, Brandon, you agree with me on this one, right?
Oh, totally. And I think Brendan should be up here joining us because he did pick the Braves to win this World Series.
I
So
know.
he obviously knows some baseball.
Yeah, apparently he knows more than me.
But yeah, I mean, this is a total disaster. This is the first time that the MLB has had a lockout since the 1994 to 95 season. It is a complete mess. And the fact that the owners and players can't come to agreement after the collective bargaining expired last Wednesday is just a mess.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. And all the stuff that Rob Manfred put in that letter to like the MLB fans and the players or whatever, whoever that letter was addressed to, a lot of it didn't make sense. And two, there was like no truth to the statements that he was making. It was all just a bunch of made up hoo-ha.
Oh yeah, and look, I mean, the baseball has been on a downturn for a long time. The ratings are horrible. You know, and it's just like after COVID too, the players and the owners, their relationship has just completely gone AWOL. It's really bad. I hope that they can get this figured out before the regular season comes, because having canceled games, World Series was canceled 25 years ago. It's just like, what is going on?
If the regular season gets canceled, I don't know what I'm going to do. Baseball is the one thing that gives me joy. It's like the one thing I look forward to. The second the Rockies lose and are out of it, I set like a countdown on my phone, and I'm like, how many days until baseball season? And I remember the COVID year when it got pushed back. I was in the middle of my English class when the announcement got made. I cried.
Yeah, and
this is gonna make me cry again.
Yeah.
Rob Manfred, get it together. Stop being a little weenie and get it together.
Well, and the thing is too that it can be the owner's fault, but I kind of side with baseball fans too in blaming the players. I mean, the Rangers just dropped $500 million on Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, and then
they also got who else did they get? John Gray.
John Gray.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be a little honest here. John Gray going to the Rangers, a little bit of a parallel move, I guess. You know, he's Texas's inconsistent problem now.
Yeah.
But still, like the Rangers are honestly, the Rangers are looking like the Padres are to me.
Yeah.
They're looking like they're gonna spend all this money. They're gonna have this huge payroll, and it's gonna amount to nothing. Like in a way, I do agree that MLB needs to figure out something to do with the payroll. I am personally kind of a fan of a salary cap. I don't know how you feel about that one.
No, I would agree. I think this entire money thing, I mean, and Max Scherzer got paid like
look at Max Scherzer. He's getting paid $43 million a year. His contract is higher than the Baltimore Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates' entire roster. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Like, I think that there's a point on both sides, but I think that just how the whole thing is handled was not the best.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully things can get figured out. And as two of the biggest baseball fans here at CTV, we better hope the players in MLB figure this dispute out soon, because they better not miss the start of the season. That's all I'm saying. And with that, it's time for a quick break, but when we come back, we'll send off one of our very own in a special way. So stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh,
He took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back from the break. Well, if you hadn't already gathered, tonight is our last CTV Sports show of the semester. And that means our last show with my co-anchor, right here, Brendan Fairbairn, who graduates in a few weeks. I mean, I'm not really one for goodbyes, but I'll say this. All of your contributions you do to maintain our standards here at CTV will definitely be missed. And man, you've come such a long way from your first show back in the pre-COVID days. Let's roll that clip.
Welcome to Primetime Sports. I'm Brendan Fairbairn.
And I'm Erica Johnson. We are so excited to get into our first topic, doing the most.
Where each week we choose one male and female athlete, team, or coach we feel is doing the most at CSU to highlight. Man, I was hitting that paper like it owed me money. I'm so glad I came so far along from my first show. Imagine going into the business like that. I'd probably run a TV station into the ground. But again, over the years, I think I've definitely improved, maybe just a little bit. But I'm so thankful for what I've learned over the last few years.
Yeah, I liked the look of shock you had, like when they first took the camera. And you were like,
no, it looks
and
like...
And then you went into the big hand.
No, it literally looks like I was about to run into the camera. I'm surprised I
Yeah, you look like you were ready to charge.
I know, it was like a pop-up. And again, that poor piece of paper, I was literally smacking it. I think you couldn't even hear what I was saying. I was just crumbling a paper. It was like that. But again, I retired the paper, so no more paper abuse on CTV. But again, I improved over the last few years.
I definitely agree with that. I think you have improved. And with that, it's time to sign off. Or is it? We couldn't let you go without a little bit of a going away gift. Casey, bring it out.
Oh. Hold on, we gotta show him. We gotta show him right here. Peyton Manning, the greatest quarterback of all time, on a cake. Thank you, Madeline, so
You're
much.
Welcome. Hold it up.
I was about to come off. I was like, man, this is so.
Everyone
I
see
can't
that?
wait to. The greatest quarterback.
I
Thank
spent a
you.
good probably hour and a half on that cake.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Madeline. This means
Of
so much to
course.
me. This is an awesome cake. I love it. And again, thank you guys for everything too. Thank you. But now it is actually time to sign off. Before I do that, with this being my last show here at CTV, I want to say a quick thank you to everyone that has helped me grow over the past 2 years. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I can't wait to see what everyone does in the future. Everyone here is so talented. I had so much fun with unforgettable memories and learned so much over my time here. But like everything in life, it's sadly come to an end. I do want to give one special shout out before I end things off though. I want to send a thank you to my sports director, Casey Abashian, who has helped me so much over these last 3 semesters, from all the help with packages, shows, script writing, to late night editing. I cannot thank you enough for everything you've done for me. And for the last time, thank you for tuning in to the Monday Night Sports Show. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night for Brandon's final sports show of the semester. Good luck on your finals, Ram fans, and enjoy your winter break. So long.